Hello. Welcome. We're good. We're live. Oh, yeah, I counted you down, but yeah, that's fine.
Exciting things in woke Hollywood and some cool stuff too. So we'll get to
Mhm.
that later. But let's get into our weeks first. So I'll start. I've been playing a lot of Liza P. Actually, not a ton, but I have been, but I played with like a week apart. So lately, I've been playing a lot. Um, so I'm about 10 hours in, or 12, something like that. Actually, close to 15 now. So
Wow, look at you.
getting up there, yeah. As a Souls game, I think it's pretty great, actually. Well, Souls-like game. A lot of people say it was their favorite Souls-like game. A lot of people were saying it was their game of the year last year, which I said Hogwarts, and I'm kind of moving towards this more, actually. But I didn't actually play this game last year, so
Mm,
to be fair,
to be fair.
I didn't actually play it, so but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty difficult. I'm doing a dex build. I feel like the game is definitely dex oriented, because you had to be quick. You have to be really quick. But there are a lot more great swords and like strength build swords or weapons that I'm picking up, which I don't want to use. So I'm still using the same sword I started with, which is kind of a
Mm.
bummer. Like I feel like there should be more options here.
Not
Um,
enough katanas for you?
No, I know there is a katana, but I need to beat a certain boss to get it. I'm searching for the katana first
Oh,
thing.
I know you. I know you.
But yeah, so it's kind of weird. It's like you should have more options for it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm drinking another touch of haze tonight. But yeah, I'm stuck though. I was pretty smooth sailing for a while, but I got to the Puppet King. If you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Which has two phases. The first one hits pretty hard. The second one hits even harder. It's like you got a hemorrhoid, you just can't get it out. Can't poop. That's what it feels like when I play it, when I get to the second phase. So and trust me, I've had a hemorrhoid. I know what it's like.
Wow, that's
um,
so
yes,
graphic.
yes. But it's pretty fun. It's like it's not like there's only been one enemy. It was a mini boss that I was like actually pissed off about. The rest have been a nice challenge, actually. It's not unfair, really. Um, and it's got the classic Souls clunkiness where you get into a wall, a corner, and you can't freaking get out. You're like rolling, and you can't see anything. The camera's like, and you're like, oh, whatever. I guess I'll just die. Um, so that's kind of a bummer. There's certain Souls elements that they didn't take out, but there's other ones like when you die from a boss, you can pick up your souls right outside the boss room.
Oh, that's
So you don't have to
nice.
go in to grab them. You don't have to be committed to the boss if you don't want to do it then. So that's really nice. Um, there's the element of it resets like elevators. So like in Souls games, you go to an elevator, and if you die, you come back to the bonfire, you go back. The elevator's already freaking down or up, and you got to pull the lever, right? In this one, it automatically resets it to where you're coming from, which is very helpful.
That's pretty
Um,
helpful.
yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised by that. It's like, oh, nice. Um, so I don't really know what the lever's for. I guess the beginning it might. I can't remember now. I don't really pull the lever that much, so yeah. and there's a lot of easy elements. I would say it's one of the easier ones, but it's getting challenging now. So 15 hours in, I'm finally feeling pretty challenged. But yeah, the enemy I really hate is this giant clown puppet who freaking oh my gosh, he's ruthless. He just doesn't I hate enemies in Souls games that just go do, 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 that they hit you like rapid fire. It's like you can't recover, you can't dodge, you can't roll, you can't attack, you can't block. You're just screwed, you know?
Just parry.
Yeah. Well, you can't. It won't let you parry. It's like it won't. You can't even get it up. Whatever. So, yeah, he's one of those enemies that just keeps hitting you,
Mm,
and he hits really hard too. So I have not beaten him, but I will be back for that stupid clown. I will destroy him, and I will laugh. Um, and he's got an annoying laugh, so it makes the death even worse every time. You hear that stupid cackle. So but yeah, so once I beat the Puppet King, I'm gonna edit the videos I've recorded so far of that, and then put out my first Liza P video for you guys to enjoy. Hopefully, you find it funny and boomerish
I
at
always
times.
find you gaming funny.
Yeah, I'm either really good or really bad.
Yeah, there is no. I feel like your learning phase is like atrocious. No
Yes,
offense,
yes, it's
but it's
awful.
like
It's
it's
awful.
endearing. But
It's
then you pick it up quick, so then there's not any really
yes.
medium phase. It's just
I'm a
like
good I'm a good learner.
yeah,
So
you
yeah,
learn and you're atrocious, but then you come back and all of a sudden you're like Elden Lord, and you're like, oh, how
right.
did we get here?
That's right. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, so it's been fun. I'm not discouraged or anything. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm gonna beat it, and I will hopefully 100% it eventually. Um,
Good.
yeah. So that's been good. And I've been watching Star Trek, the original films, not the original series yet, which I will watch once I've completed my 6 movie arc that I'm going through with that. Um, so Star Trek, right? I get the hype. It's incredible. It's amazing. And I've always been a Star Wars fan. Star Wars is one of my favorite fandoms. Um, I always saw Star Trek as kind of, a boring, old sci-fi show, but the hype is real. Let me tell you, the soundtrack is one of the greatest soundtracks I have ever heard, ever. It is so good. It is inspiring. It is emotional. Um, so let me just say this. So I watched Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That's the first Star Trek film that came out in 70 something. So it's around the same time as Star Wars. These all came out around the same time. Um, I didn't really think much of the movies. I thought the series was kind of the big thing in Star Trek. But oh no, 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 was I wrong? Um, the first one is fine. It's it's um it's a classic sci-fi movie. It's got all the sci-fi elements of, a classic sci-fi. I can see how Star Trek really kind of paved the way for that genre. Um, it's got the psychedelic music, it's got the science and technology, it's got the quirky aliens, it's got all that stuff. It's got all the cool elements. And I give it a 3.5 stars. It was good. Way better than anything current, obviously, because they cared about the characters and the lore and the world and the fans. They actually want to deliver quality content. Um, but then I got to Star Trek 2, and it blew my mind how good it was.
I
Star
saw
Trek
that.
2, The Wrath of Khan, 5 stars, one of the greatest films of all time. And I can't believe I'm saying this. It rivals Empire for one of the greatest sci-fi or in general sequels of all time. Like it's so
Wow.
good. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm still an Empire fan. Like
Of
I will
course.
always be probably more of a Star Wars fan than Star Trek. But
You say
holy
that,
crap,
but you've only 2 movies in.
I'm only 2 movies in. This is true, and I have a whole series to get through. I
Yeah.
think it's like 3 seasons. Then plus the next generation after that. Yeah. So dude, I'm full on. You know me.
Oh, you're
I'm
committed.
committed. I'm in now. I'm a trekker.
A
I'm in for the
trekker.
ride. So, I gotta finish Doctor Who first, but then I'll get to Star Trek.
Okay. It sounds like you already started, but that's fine.
Well, I'm starting the movies. I haven't started the series yet. The series
Okay.
came first, so these movies actually came out after. So there's a lot of context I've missed, but, for somebody who doesn't really know much about Star Trek, except for the characters, obviously, they're some of the most famous characters in fiction, right? And I didn't even really need to even watch the first movie. The second movie is kind of it's a good introduction to Star Trek in and of itself. And so as somebody who really didn't know much about the world, didn't know much about the interaction between the characters, didn't know much about Khan as a villain. He's one of the most iconic villains in, I mean, he might even be the most iconic. I don't really know. Um, I was pulled in and I was captivated and like I understood the stakes. I understood that you should be scared about Khan. He's a big deal. I understood the that you should care about these characters. Like I actually care about these characters and I barely know them.
Mm.
Um and I'm gonna are you fine with if I spoil the ending here?
No,
Or do you not want me to?
I don't want you to. This is one
Okay,
that
all
I
right.
I will probably get into myself. So
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 Good thing I asked then. Yeah, because Star Trek is incredible. Uh, there, one of the biggest moments in cinema history is Luke, or is no, I am your father from Empire, right? One of the greatest fights in cinema, and especially in sci-fi, is the fight between Vader and Luke, right? Iconic moments. But there was a very iconic moment at the end of this. I don't know. Again, I don't really know yet if I think it's more iconic than I am your father because that's quoted everywhere. But there is a moment, a culmination, if you will, of everything in Star Trek. I could see it as a culmination of everything from the original series, everything at least from this film too. That happens, and it's hard to explain really without telling you what happens. But there is something that happens at the end of this movie that is inspiring as a film moment and made me tear up. I
mm,
was, like, glued to the screen. I was crying, I was glued, I was captivated, and, like, again, I don't know nothing about Star Trek, so that was pretty amazing as an experience, especially because I didn't know about it at
mhm.
all. I came in knowing nothing about that movie in particular. Um, so yes, there is I'm just getting chills thinking about it. It's so good. If you all out there who know what I'm talking about will understand, and I hope Tyler gets to it soon. Um, but yeah, it blew my mind how captivating it was. And um, yeah, I mean, 5 stars easily. One of the greatest movies I've ever seen, and probably neck and neck with Empire. So yeah. And there are quotes in there are scenes in this movie that I'm like, "Oh, that's where that's from. I've heard this a gazillion times. Now I know where it's from." Um, but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a special experience to say the least. Um,
Man, I mean, I saw shout out Biggie5547 on Instagram. I saw that
mhm,
you watched those this week,
yep.
and I saw the 3.5 stars, and then I saw the 5 stars, and I was like, Biggie doesn't give out 5 stars very lightly, so we're definitely going to
Nope.
be hearing about this on the show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I've already watched the third movie. I'm already in the fourth. I'm already like a third of the way through the fourth movie. They kind of go down in quality, but again,
Mm.
still great compared to what we got now. So I gave the third one a 3 stars, but I will be posting those next week. Um, so yeah. Those are kind of the highlights of my week. Um,
Nice.
and I'm excited to get into Star Trek more, and it's kind of telling about what we're going to be talking about later. I think you know what I'm about to say or talking about, but it's up there. It's probably the top. Star Trek. So, but yeah, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that
All
later.
right.
Zach should be joining around 8:30. I don't know about Nick. Hopefully he'll join. But yeah, tell me about your week, Bluey.
Well, let's see. I have been more intentional about watching movies that I should have seen but haven't,
Yeah.
or movies that I want to see and haven't. Um, so
Right.
I've got a couple new reviews up on my letterbox,
Yeah.
and those would include the movie Air that came out last year about the Nike
Okay.
deal with Michael Jordan. Um,
Yeah.
Great movie, loved it actually.
Mhm.
Um, Matt Damon, fantastic.
I've heard great things about it. Did you watch
Yeah,
that? Is it through Apple TV?
no, it's on
Okay.
Amazon
It
Prime
is on
Video.
Amazon. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Um, who else is in that movie?
Matt Damon.
Yeah, well, Matt
Matt
Damon.
Matt Matt
One of
Damon
my favorite.
Targaryen.
One of my favorite. Um, Ben Affleck's in it too. Is it Jason Bateman? I
Let
believe
me
it's
look it up.
Jason Bateman. He was in Ozark. Um,
Chris Tucker?
yeah, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker.
Wow.
Um,
Jason Bateman, yeah.
yeah, so I love
Oh,
Jason
Viola
Bateman.
Davis.
Yeah, hey, she,
Sly is in this movie too?
yeah, it actually there's a lot more people in here
What?
than I thought. Um,
Wow.
so actually, Viola
Eddie
Davis,
Murphy. What
yeah, Davis, she actually was really good.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, I just always I always associate with her with Woman King, so I just I can't get that out of my head. And Suicide Squad, so
no, she was actually really, really good in this movie. Just because it's actually accurate to how, um, to what people say Michael Jordan's mom was like.
okay.
Um, she was like his house was definitely more of a matriarchal home.
Yeah.
And so like there's that, and like the dad's no slump either. Like Mr. Jordan, I mean, you see him, he's working on a car, and he's like he protects Mrs. Jordan. He's like, if you need anything, let me know, or like if anything's going wrong, I'll be there. Like he's very like supportive, and he's not really like he's not dummy, but he's more like he's a funny character. Like
Yeah.
he's a guy, and they're shopping for shoe brand and deals for their
Shoot.
son. And so he,
Yeah.
he to the things that are more appealing to Michael as a young 18-year-old basketball player, his dad is also like interested in.
Yeah.
Whereas the mom is thinking more logistically, like, what can
Yeah.
this do for his legacy? And it's like it's valid, the difference between a man and a woman in that aspect.
Sure.
And I thought they did a really good job, and I say this in my review, of representing the Jordan family as a whole. They're very respected. There wasn't an overt message of racism is going on here or anything like that. It was just cut and dry. Like, my son's a good basketball player because of the work he put in. He deserves a good deal for
Yeah.
whatever, and it wasn't like, oh, you just want to do this because my son is a slave in the basketball. It wasn't anything like that, which I was
Yeah.
bracing myself for, to be honest, but I was very happy with it. I also watched the first two Mission Impossibles. Mission
You've never
Impossible
seen that
1.
before?
No.
Bro, what?
I know. Like I said, I've been trying to be more intentional.
Okay, I mean, I forgive not watching the second one because the second one's garbage, but
okay, and actually, funny
first
enough,
one is a classic.
at first one was fantastic.
It's
Fantastic.
amazing. Yes.
It is amazing. The second one, it's okay despite all the plot holes and the. So, did you know that it was supposed to be like 4 hours long?
I mean, I can believe it.
So it was
Why?
supposed to be 4 hours long, and Paramount Pictures told the director, absolutely not. You have to keep it under 2. And so that's why there are so many continuity errors and all of that. So having that, oh, hello, hand. Having that,
Hello. Sorry, my camera's on this.
having that
There we go.
context going into the movie,
Yeah.
it made it a little more enjoyable because I was like, there's the like it was fun, like picking
Yeah.
out like, oh, okay, so there was something that clearly should have happened here. But yeah, no, it was definitely worse than the first one, but it was still like I thought it was fun.
They-
I actually liked the action and the VFX. One thing that was kind of a turnoff for me in the first movie was was actually the sound design. Like the sound is awful, and I know it's
Well,
'96, but like
90, yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Like I
Well,
was
it's probably a pretty low
flexing the
budget film too. I
probably
don't really know, but
I was like
yeah.
flexing the volume all movie long. Like explosions are extremely loud while
Yeah,
dialogue is like super quiet. Um,
right.
you people are mumbling and it's all just like mumble into the microphone. There's no like it was just awful, bro. So I had to turn subtitles on because I couldn't understand anything. Um,
Yeah.
but despite that, it was still a really great movie, great story for the first one. Like incredible. Like it's one of those where it's like, okay, I kind of see the predictability here, but
Mhm.
like honestly, a great story and a good closeout to the
Well,
story.
one
Um,
of one of the coolest twists in a movie like ever. One of the really coolest twists in the
yeah.
first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're like, holy crap! When the guy's back, when the guy's alive, still,
Yep.
you're like, what?
Yep.
Oh my gosh! And then the use of the masks at the very end. It's very well done. And then they overdid the mask thing in the second movie
Yeah. So that's where I
to
was
an
gonna go. In the
extreme.
second movie, it was the ending with the mask was pretty cool when he took the guy who attacked him, put his own mask on him, and pretended like he had captured,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then I
it
was
was
like,
fine.
okay,
Yeah, there's
I
some
saw
good
that
elements.
coming when he was like, I broke his jaw. He's not saying anything, and I was like, okay,
Yes,
this is
yes,
clearly
yes.
the wrong guy.
Right, right. Yes.
um,
No, you're right. That is
yeah,
an interesting moment, I will say. But
yeah, but it was definitely overdone at that point because I was like the fifth mask reveal of the show of the whole
I know
movie.
it's like, okay, all right.
All right,
And
there we
that
go.
the third one is a lot better.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's funny.
I'll get to that one soon.
How many have you seen then? Have you seen the fourth and onward?
No, just the two. Just the first two.
Oh, you've never seen any of them?
No, no,
Oh, wow. I thought you had seen the most recent one, but I guess not.
no.
Okay. Well, they definitely tone the mask thing down a lot. Where to the point where it's like, oh no, it's broken. I guess we got to go in without him. So it kind of, I kind of wish they brought him back a little bit more, but the way they do it in the later movies is actually really good. So
That's good.
it goes up from here. So it's like a check mark. The first one's up here, then doop, doop. So yeah, it gets really good.
Yeah, I just
So
remember like seeing my parents like rent them from the movie store, or like my grandma would rent them, and like
yeah, yeah,
this is when I was a kid. So like seeing these like, and I remember like looking at the disc or like the cover of the disc, and
the
like seeing like
blockbuster.
the MI, yeah, the blockbuster case, and it was like MI4, MI5, like that iconic red. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
have those on Amazon Prime. And so like as I'm like scrolling through the Mission Impossibles, I'm like,
Oh,
man, like I remember
there
seeing this on the counter at my grandma's house. Like that was just like it kind of hit me.
the 4K discs are in my cart on Amazon. Just gotta buy
For
them.
Mission
So
Impossible?
yeah, I'm trying to collect
Wow.
all the series that I really enjoy. So
Wow.
Mission Impossible will
Well,
be one of them.
I'm excited to finish them because I am enjoying it. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. I'm not gonna
Oh, I
lie.
love Tom Cruise. I
I
love Tom
I'm
Cruise.
not a really
Except
big
for
I
his
think
Scientology views, but
well, I also like his tooth that's like in the middle of his nose.
oh,
Like
it is a little
I
weird. Yeah,
I can't stop looking at it, man.
it's distracting.
It's so distracting. Um
That's true.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
but like the first one was so good because like you think you're about to fall in love with these characters at the beginning of the movie and then they all die.
they all die.
I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, it's this kind of movie. Nice."
Yeah,
And then
yeah. Except for Luther, good old Luther.
good old Luther. Um
Yeah.
I love Luther actually, yeah. He was even good in the second one.
Is
He's
he?
like, they
I was
he
gonna
put a
say I
hole
can't
in my
remember if he was.
Versace.
Yeah, he's in most of them. I don't know if he's in the fourth one. He might not be in the fourth one at all, but he's definitely in the fifth and onward, and I guess he's in the third and probably yeah.
We'll
So
find
that
out.
might have just been the one movie he's not in, but yeah, he's
And
great.
this one is the Australian Billy.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah,
Benji
so
hasn't been introduced yet, right? Simon Pegg's character. Okay, Let me know. I can't remember which one it starts in, so let me know when you get to
Okay.
him. He's
Yeah,
one of my favorites too.
it's been fun going through those.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
In my opinion, they're the better versions of what Fast and Furious should have been. So
oh, okay.
for
Well,
a giant, film series like a saga like that. Besides, like, obviously Harry Potter, which is 7 books, but
that's also
solely movies.
continuous. Like this,
Right.
these are pretty standalone so far. I mean, 1 and 2, they're not really related at all. It's
Oh,
just the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
It's just
Well, it's the
different
same thing with
missions.
Fast and Furious,
They all link together though.
But the first and second
The
and
first one
third are
are
uniques,
yes,
and
but
then they get
then
more
5 through 10 are all tied together.
right, and
And they
same with Mission Impossible.
okay. All
The
right.
third and onward are you linked heavily. So.
Okay. Yeah, cuz like Fast and Furious they all call back to 1, 2 and 3 then from 5 through 10.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um so I mean I love Fast and Furious, but that's
I do too. I'm just saying I think Mission Impossible is better and it's
mm,
less cheesy. It's less cheesy.
I don't know, that motorcycle chase in 2 was
Well,
pretty
again,
cheesy.
2 is an anomaly. 2 is awful. So it gets much, much better.
Oh man.
Yeah, like when you get to 4, you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is hype." Even
Yeah.
3 is pretty good. It's got one of the greatest villains in a movie and one of the greatest actors, Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace. Um, Great actor. So you'll like the third one too.
So yeah, I'm enjoying them. I am.
Yeah,
It was
good.
funny to see that there was continuity errors in 2 because of the length that had to get cut down. So then I was able to pick them
Yeah,
out. That was fun. But
it's like
you
the
know, I
Marvels.
really, I really enjoyed them. And
Good.
then I think that's all the movies I've watched this week. Those 3.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and then I haven't really watched any shows, or caught up
Yeah.
on anything. I did see. I'm excited for the Bad Batch trailer that
Yeah,
released
you sent that. I
yesterday.
haven't watched it yet, but,
Yeah, so
you know,
we could talk
not
about that
really
later.
hyped about anything Star Wars, but we'll do something with it later, which we'll talk about
Yeah,
maybe eventually.
and I'm drinking ginger ale kombucha.
Kombucha.
I'm
Nice.
feeling a little under the weather today. If you couldn't
Yeah.
hear it in my voice, so I
Mhm.
might get quieter throughout the show. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm excited to be back. Gaming wise, still doing Elden Ring. Haven't touched it much, but
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, we have.
Yes, sir.
We've been assailing. Arg.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
Yeah. It's
Um,
been fun. It's been a lot of
we
fun.
it actually the new update came out yesterday.
It came out today, I think.
Today it came out.
Yeah, the new season. So that means I got a huge update probably on my computer.
Maybe, but also announcement alert. There's a Talking Nerds guild.
There is. Yes. Yeah. Do I have a? uh.
Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
Yes. The Talking Nerds Discord server. If you go into it, you will see a brand new voice channel for Sailing the Seas, where we will be talking mostly while we play. If you don't have that, we can always do Xbox live chat. But yes, we do have a guild now. We should probably, can we put the invite in the Discord server? Is that possible?
No, because you have to invite
In the game?
yeah, through the game.
Yeah. Well, we will always let you know. There's a text chat as well for that. So we'll always let you know when we're sailing and you can join. So I think we can have up to 24 people in our guild. And currently we have a sloop called the Mary Sue Loop. And that is my proud name for it. And then we have a brigantine right now.
Yep.
That our friend Yo brought in, and then Gomi Bear is going to be getting a brigantine, and then Bluey will be getting a galleon.
I will be buying us a galleon. Yep.
Yes, so we will have a fleet No one can attack us.
I'm over halfway. I'm over halfway to having enough gold. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
you played a little bit more recently than I have, but
it's been a
it
lot of
it
fun,
been,
dude.
oh I know. It's been a year since I had played, so I was a little rusty, but Boomer Biggie was sneaking back in. But I mean, I'm getting used to it again. So
Yeah.
um
No, it was fun.
also David Hasselhoff and Hulk Hogan were in Air too.
Yes.
I just had it on the screen and I just noticed that. Mr. T, Eddie Murphy,
Yep.
Bill Murray.
Well, they did that because
Holy
it's
crap, man.
yeah. Well, they
All
did
the,
that
all the
because
people you knew.
the opening was like honestly one of the coolest openings ever. It was like a montage of like late 80s, early 90s to like get you in the mindset of like what era of America
Yeah.
we're in. And it was
Right.
so cool. Like I'm too young for that, right? But I understand how cool that time period was,
Oh, yeah,
especially with the
yeah.
dawning of Michael freaking Jordan, right? So like
Yeah.
dude, it was insane because there's like Bill Murray on a football field, and then there's Hulk Hogan in wrestling. There's Mr. T
Yeah.
getting beat up by Rocky. Like it was just
yeah.
like you're just like you're opening
Oh,
up.
so that's why Sly was in it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sick.
And so like the whole opening, you got to watch it, bro. Even if it's just for the opening. The opening is so cool because it's like film grainy. Like you feel like you're
it's on my
in,
watch list. Yeah.
you feel like you're in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like, honestly, it was super masterful. This is something our friend Barrett would like to break down, I think, of like how they did the coloring. But like,
Yeah.
it started very visibly like later 80s with like a more black and white muted like news articles. And then it came through with more color into the 90s, but it kept it like film grained and like the more popping like 90s-esque colors. And then it shot the actual actors, so it opened with like Matt Damon at a basketball game, but it kept the film grain and it like slowly faded it out, so like naturally your brain just like thought you were still in the 90s. It was so cool. It was so good, dude. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
I was hooked from the beginning because of that opening.
Yeah.
And the music was so good. Sorry, I can't stop talking about it. It was actually a really good movie.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It's also got Gustav Skarsgård, who was Lofi in Vikings. So that's cool. Anything with Skarsgård brothers is good.
It's good.
Or Stellan Skarsgård. So
Stellan.
But yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into some news. So we got, oh my gosh, so much is going on right now, guys. So many good things, some bad things. But we're gonna talk about it. So first things first, Ding Dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
At least it's rumored. It's rumored that the witch is dead. So Charmin Obaid Chinoy, who was the director of the upcoming Rey solo film, may not be involved anymore. Potentially. But that's not true yet. It's just rumor. It's rumor. It's just rumor.
It's an exciting rumor though.
It is an exciting rumor. And an even more exciting rumor is that the Rey film might not even happen.
That's also very exciting.
That's even better. But there's also talks that she might be in other Star Wars projects. So it's like, just give us good news, please. Yeah. So, so we talked about Obaid Chinoy last week, but amidst the excitement of her involvement in Star Wars, okay, sure.
Is that what you would call it?
Film slated for 2026. Whispers of uncertainty have emerged. Jeff Snyder, an experienced entertainment journalist, recently broached the subject on the Hot Mic podcast. He brought attention to the film industry's tendency for rapid changing, which is in directors, which happens a lot. And I think that's what happened with. That's what happened with. Was it not Daredevil, but Blade? That director swapped like 5 times. We've been talking about.
And then it was so bad that the main actor was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
But he's still on it, I think, right?
But
Mahershala
he's very uncertain about it though.
right. And then they throw in the thing that he might not even be the lead of his own show, which is retarded.
Well,
So
yeah.
Yeah. So there's speculations that she might not be involved. These suggest that Disney and Lucasfilm could be deliberating over a directorial change, potentially leaving the role open for Sean Levy, another filmmaker. I mean, this guy, I mean, like, they got to be like, oh no, what do we do? We got to make money, but this is just a mess. But like, it was their idea to come up with this whole thing in the first place. So, despite these rumors, it's important to note that she'll still remain officially attached to the project. However, with swirling uncertainty, has not been without consequence. Star Wars landscape is no stranger to conjecture or anticipation. Okay, and a potential shift in directorial leadership has heightened this atmosphere. I mean, it's certainly been talked about a lot. We'll say that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Lucasfilm's recent developments, including Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu in development, have contributed to the ambiguity surrounding the Rey film. Reports of script delays and creative differences have cast further doubt on the project's timeline. Yeah. So let's hope this is legit. I mean, Marvel also said we're gonna not put as much activism in our stuff, and then this obviously a whole thing happened. So you can't trust the liar.
Yeah, and I think too it's important to note that she won't be removed from the project altogether, which is
Right.
probably just as bad. Like it sounds like they're just gonna rename her role.
Yes.
But all that to say, it is more exciting though that the Rey movie or whatever itself is in question. So if that gets thrown out, then yay.
Honestly, good if it happens, good if it doesn't happen. We win either way because
Sure.
it'll be either we don't have to watch that or it's the final nail in the coffin, So
yeah,
we'll see.
I guess. And I did, when I saw this, I like looked up some articles to like confirm this rumor that I was hearing. I saw another article that apparently I think she said it, or maybe the article was writing it for her, but they were like, oh, she never said that this film was going to make men uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, we know that
Okay.
that's not, but she likes doing that. That's the problem.
Right.
It's not that
That's
the
the
film
point.
is going to do it. It's that she likes doing it and she said it.
Anybody with common sense can correlate that statement with this is going to be a movie about activism.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I think we understand. The writing is on the wall.
And especially when she was like, it's about time that we have a woman direct the future of Star Wars.
No, it's not woman. Yeah, time we have a woman lead the future of Star Wars, which
and which we put that theory down succinctly last
easily.
week.
It's like Jennifer Lawrence saying that she was Hollywood's first woman action star. It's like, are you serious?
Are you kidding me?
You're not even close.
I just
Go
watched
home.
Mission Impossible 2. There's a woman action star in there.
I mean, but Ellen Ripley,
Yeah.
you got freaking Sarah Connor. Like, there's so many
Sandra
awesome
Bullock.
characters. Yeah, Tomb Raider, Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
So, yeah. More exciting news. The Walk of Shame. Don't hold your breath for She-Hulk season 2. Seems unlikely, Tatiana Maslany suggests, which is, great news. So this is funny. Here's some humor for you. If you like the first season of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, you've probably been on the lookout for what Marvel will announce season 2. I'm sorry. If I had a cricket sound thing, I would put that because, like, who's asking for this? Like,
who's asking for that?
I don't think anybody really enjoyed this except for some lonely blue-haired woman, And it's ironic because we were the villain of that show. They made us the villain of that show. And they tried to troll us, and it's like, okay, but now look where you're at. Like,
yeah,
was it worth it? Like, I don't understand, So you'll be sad to know there are no new episodes on the horizon. This disheartening news was shared by Tatiana Maslany during her interview with Codename Live, where she gave less than hopeful information on the future of the series.
Man, I'm so sad.
I know, I'm bummed. Even though She-Hulk sustained a pretty decent approval rating. Yeah, okay. It stands at 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not good. I'm sorry, but that's not a good rating.
No.
It received, and it's probably just the general one. That's probably not even like the what do you call it? The top raters or whatever, top critics score, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some Marvel fans had issues with the use of CGI, and others were bothered by being too feminist. I mean, it was. It further demasculated Hulk. It kind of just buried him as a character altogether. And of course, he ruined one of the greatest characters in the MCU, which is Daredevil.
Yep.
In any case, this might have resulted in not so impressive viewing numbers. I love the way they phrase these things. No, just not good. Just not good viewing numbers. No viewing numbers, in fact. Some will say they're bad. I say they're terrible. That's just me, though. They're just terrible. So, which would explain why Marvel and Disney Plus have not announced a follow-up. She was asked, will it eventually happen? She said, I don't think so. I think we blew our budget. And Disney was like, no, thanks. Yeah.
All right.
You blew your budget on just garbage.
Let me just say this. Movies, shows, whatever, they blow their budget all the time. All the time.
Of course.
So this is not a new thing, blowing the budget in the film industry.
Right.
What is different is that you blew the budget and you didn't make any money. That's the problem. So it's like leaving out the important part there. Like, we blew our budget. That's why they're not doing season 2. No. Yeah. You blew your budget and nobody liked it. That's why they're not doing
created literal shit.
You had no money gained after blowing the budget. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was even more relevant in the Marvels, but yeah, it's you just can't have a honest conversation with these people. The budget of She-Hulk was indeed a problem, of course. Since the star, okay, so is She-Hulk canceled? The series has not been canceled, and while it boils down to whether it makes financially sense to continue, there might be a glimmer of hope. I'm sorry, there's no glimmer of hope here. And variation.
The glimmer of hope is that it's not coming back.
It's not coming back. Exactly. This is one of those things that I'm like, please don't. Just don't. I'm not even going to enjoy laughing at you. It's just bad. It's just aggravating. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm good. So yeah, that's basically the sum of that. But it's hilarious just seeing everybody's reaction at the beginning, and then it's like then and now, like what is it? Where are you at now? You know. Same applies to Rings of Power. Applies to all these shows. And it's always the same excuse with these people. It's always the exact same excuse. Everything but the real reason. Yeah. So, it's the Emperor's New Clothes. Always the Emperor's New Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here's some bad news. Some secrets are better kept quiet. New Rings of Power rumors tease Unhinged season 2. So this is from the OneRing.net, which is a very loyal Lord of the Rings and Tolkien site source. So these guys know their stuff, and I'm not going to get into all this because there's a lot of stuff that is, it gets really into the lore, and we would be here forever, and I don't really actually know all this stuff. But here's kind of the sum of it. Somehow Amazon got the rights to the Silmarillion, and they decided it'd be better if they didn't say anything about it, if they kept it a secret, which is bewildering. So, a wild bombshell appeared on 4chan on January 15th, claiming knowledge of fully detailed plot points and episodes that were quickly regurgitated on our Discord server. The contents of this post caused shockwaves as it shocked and dismayed me, but also much of its contents have been corroborated fully by someone close to the producers who shared more information. So, but fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. As the production calendar continues, enigmatic details are clearer, while others remain deeply shrouded. It's like scrying in the mirror of Galadriel without any guidance. Nonetheless, it is now being discussed openly that Amazon secretly acquired the rights to the Silmarillion for use in season 2, which is huge news. It is even more insane to think that something so significant has happened and the studio had said nothing about it in time of this article's publication. So there's a couple things here. Well, actually, there's a bunch of things here. So I'm only going to talk about a couple things. But so Sauron, Halbrand, our boy Halbrand, director Charlotte Brandstrom has said in interviews that the first episode of the new season will be a standalone episode. We've been reporting for 15 months that this season opener will dedicate itself entirely to Sauron, his backstory, and his misadventures prior to what we saw in season 1. So a big thing is that in the Silmarillion is that Sauron always changes his appearance. In this season, he's gonna be a fair elf, right? In the book, he's a white dude. He's your classic elf, right? In this, he's a Persian-looking guy. I don't know what exactly the nationality is, but he's Persian. And also, Sauron evidently had a son, and Adar evidently killed him in cold blood. Nothing that appears in any of Tolkien's works ever. So they're making up stuff. And also, Adar is being recasted because the first dude was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be anything anywhere close to this project. So no thanks." So he's gonna be recasted. So basically, we have two recasts there because Sauron's gonna be completely different, and Adar is gonna be completely different. So at some point, Sauron presents himself to the dwarves and straight up tells them that he apprenticed under Ule, at which point he's immediately accepted in their midst. Season 2 will conduct with their final shot the forging of the One Ring by Sauron's hand, which I guarantee is going to be exactly as stupid as it was in season 1. Tyler, you never actually watched season 1, right?
Nope.
Oh, dang. Dude, you need to watch it.
Nope. I don't
You do,
think I
because
do.
we will be covering every episode of this season when it comes out.
You don't pay me enough for that.
You know, you're right. I don't pay you enough. Let me raise you by 100% what you heard.
I don't think that's enough. I don't think, even if I was to make anything, if you were to raise it by 100%, that's not enough for me to watch that.
Yeah. Well.
Oh man.
So they got their hands on the Silmarillion, and there's a lot of fans that are gonna be really pissed about this because you know exactly what they're gonna do with it. And I think that's probably why they didn't say anything about it. Because they know they're gonna get the same exact reaction. They probably don't want to reveal too much ahead of time because their marketing is kind of what screwed them over in the first place. So and obviously the abomination that was season 1. But they probably could have done better if they had been a little bit more quiet about what they were talking about. Also, Celeborn is in this when he should have been in season 1. So get ready for good old Celeborn to be cucked, because that's for sure going to happen. Yeah, I mean, the way they treated him in the first place, without even, they first said he's dead in season 1, then they made Galadriel fall in love with Sauron, and now you're bringing Celeborn into season 2. I would love to see how this unfolds. This is just one of the many facets that you screwed up on. So, yeah. Nerdrotic said if we don't get a trailer by Super Bowl, it probably isn't coming out this year. So I'm hoping that we get a trailer pretty soon. That would be amazing. If they're smart though, they would wait a year for House of the Dragon season 2 to be released, and then release season 2. But it's not going to help you. It's not going to do anything. So yeah. Yeah. So some good news, some bad news. Overall, it's bad news for fandom, but some of it will just. I guess in the end, everything's gonna suck. So even if something's canceled, it'll just be replaced by something else. But it's like it's the Hydra head. It'll just be replaced by 2 other bad projects.
You cut one out and 2 more appear.
2 more appear. Yeah. So, yeah. Rings of Power season 2. Simultaneously destroying every character you ever loved from Lord of the Rings. So, with that, let's get into our tier list, our tier rank. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. We are going to rank the nerdiest fandom. So we've done this before with fandoms, which ones were the best. I think we did. But this is gonna be the nerdiest. So it's really doesn't have anything to do with what we feel about them. It's more to do with how do we think who's the most passionate fan base. It's more about the fans in this one technically. So let's let us get to it. All right. So, I'm going to do this in presentation mode. Oh, shoot. 1 second. Now I got to re-share everything on there. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Almost there. Almost there. Okay. I think we are good. Yes. All right.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So, let's start with the first one on the list here, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, I think as far as nerdy, also, should I make my screen a little bit bigger?
Yeah, that's good.
Fill it out a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, I'll zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so as far as nerdy children's show, what'd you call it? It's kind of a children's show, right?
I mean,
it's good. That's not
rated
that's not
Y7.
to that's not to make it make fun of it in any way or negative. It's just it is a kid show. So it's got a really small audience, I think. It's got a passionate fan base, but I wouldn't say it's one of the biggest or I mean, that's kind of got to go into it, right? I guess we should kind of figure out, what are all the categories here, right? Size is one, passion is one, which shows up the most at, right? Which shows up the most at like cons, or events, which have the which are the most involved, like learning languages and such from this world. Hint, hint. So yeah, I think some of those kind of categories, like how involved they are in the world, how much they represented at cons and stuff. I hate using that word, but you know what I'm saying.
How tolerable they are.
How tolerable they are. True. Actually,
that's gotta be
that's accurate. But I feel like that's kind of part of that one. But yeah, how toxic they are.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't put League of Legends on here because that'd be D.
Oh, that would be an F. You have to create their own tier.
F, yeah.
I'm gonna put Avatar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Avatar at B, but I think everything else that goes into B should be above it. I feel bad giving it a C. That's my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's accurate. Yeah, it's pretty big. It is pretty
Yeah.
big. We can put it there for now.
It's like big enough
Mm.
to have a movie. It's big enough to have a Netflix show coming out for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
so
Okay. All right. We got Nintendo. I mean, slash Mario. I kind of put Mario as but it can include all of Nintendo. Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
Nintendo is freaking huge.
it is
I mean, we all
huge
grew up with
base.
Mario. Smash Bros
Mhm.
is like one of the biggest video games of all time. Everybody's played Smash Bros.
Yep.
Or
And
Mario
Mario
Kart,
Kart.
you know?
Yeah. Super
I mean,
Mario Bros. The world, like, yeah.
that's got to be S tier. Like some of the biggest cosplays, right? At least A tier,
At least
maybe
A.
S tier.
I say we
Yeah.
save our S's. Save our S's.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Pokemon.
A.
I mean, yeah, it's probably beneath Mario, right?
Yeah. For now.
I mean,
For now. Yeah.
yeah. So like, it's kind of hard though. Like Pokemon, all the kids had the Pokemon cards. Everybody was trading. Everybody was showing you their giant binders. When we were kids, you know. So I
I mean, the
respect it.
TV show is massive,
No, that's fair. But it's not Mario, you know?
but I guess, but like I think Pokemon is bigger than just the game.
Yeah,
I
I guess
think.
that's fair.
Like the franchise itself, I mean, there's multiple different games of Pokemon. There is a Pokemon movie. There's a Pokemon show that's huge.
That did come out first, I suppose.
Yeah,
I should have put Sonic on here too. I did not, but
yeah.
um
So I'll
slash
keep it at A, and I'm fine having it under Mario for now. But I would almost put Pokemon into S over Mario,
what? S tier? You think Pokemon? Okay.
just because of how big it is. Like
You know what? You're kind of right, actually, because there's also Pokemon Go, which was freaking
Right.
huge.
right, and that
Okay,
was
no,
just in the States. Like Japan is massive in the Pokemon
yes.
world.
I'll put it right there for now, but
yeah.
we'll consider putting it up there. But yeah. Okay. All right. Warhammer 40,000. So huge. I mean, as far as tabletop goes, it's probably the biggest.
But how big is
So-
tabletop compared to everything else?
So I'm saying it's big, but it's probably middle of the road as far as fandoms go.
So probably B above Avatar.
But it could be getting bigger with Henry Cavill here. So yeah, I'd say it's probably above Avatar for sure.
Okay.
Pixar. I mean,
I-
personally, I want to put it in an S tier, but
I think
it's
it's A.
probably not as big as the other guys.
Let's put it in
maybe
A.
even.
Let's just put it in A,
Okay.
and we can sort through our A's because like that one's massive,
Yeah.
especially in the States.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Man,
I mean, Walt Disney is easily S tier. Like
unfortunately, yeah.
real Walt. No, like real Walt Disney, the classics.
Yeah.
That is S tier. Like, and
Yeah.
and yes, you're right. Sadly, there are a lot of Disney adults, but we all grew up with it. You know,
So
everybody.
for toxicity
Well-
levels, F. Okay.
True.
Tolerable.
The Disney adults.
Oh,
They will be the end of the world. The end of the world will be Disney adults.
Oh man.
No, yeah, but as far as the size, the commitment, that's Disney World.
The whole
alone.
Disney World, yeah.
Yeah. Disneyland. It's everywhere in the world, in Japan, France, you know.
Yep.
So it's got to be S tier. It's got to be S tier.
Yeah.
All right, Percy Jackson, definitely one of the lower ones.
Honestly,
probably
I'd
put it
probably
in
put it
C.
C. Yeah.
I love Percy Jackson, but I know it's not that big. So,
Yep.
Transformers, definitely bigger in the 90s, definitely bigger in the early 2000s.
C.
Definitely one of the biggest action figure, it's up there with G.I. Joe. But it's basically G.I. Joe, right?
Yeah.
Same world.
I put it in C.
I put it at the bottom of B.
I'll accept
Actually,
it.
I would even put it above these two.
Yeah, with all the cars that drive around with Decepticons. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. They made a bunch of movies, like
Mm-hmm.
the cartoon was
Megan
huge in the
Fox.
90s. Megan Fox alone, just S tier. Zach
Yeah,
would
you're
be
right.
so proud of us if we put it in S tier.
Yeah, you're right.
Uh,
You're right. It deserves to be in B. You're
I
right.
think it deserves to be in B. Yeah. Zach's probably gonna throw a fist when he jumps on, which should be
Probably.
pretty quick here. So
Yeah.
we'll get to the best ones last. So we'll mix it up here since it's just you and I right now. From Software. As far as video games go, I mean,
Well, that's the
in that
thing,
that
man.
type of genre, those guys are king.
Yeah, they're king in the video game world, but outside of that, pretty small.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe top of C tier.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing is like I think that's the big thing of these. Like, yes, they might be king of their category, but how do they influence outside of their category? I think that's what really determines the letter change.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yeah, it's this in no way is referencing like how good they actually are. So
Right. This is just popularity contest almost in our eyes.
yeah. Let's do World of Warcraft. I mean, that's gotta be B tier.
Oh yeah,
Right.
high B, for sure.
Probably there.
I'd put it above Transformers.
Yeah.
I personally would. I think there should be separation between World of Warcraft and Warhammer.
I mean, fair, but Transformers, yeah.
Hey,
I'll-
there's World of
I guess
Warcraft movies.
That's fine. Yeah, no. I don't deny it's huge. And there's probably more cosplayers and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
passionate fans.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Let's throw D&D in there. I mean, this has been around since the 80s, even
Dude,
beyond.
I'd probably put
mean-
that in A tier. Yeah.
I'd probably say there.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's big, dude. It's huge.
It is huge.
I mean, you go to any con, there's always Dungeons and Dragons. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of what inspired the gaming, the board game world,
Mm.
the popularity of board games. It kind of all started with D&D, right? So
Yeah, you're right.
it's huge. Definitely not Mario So I think that's a good spot right there.
Yeah, for sure.
More people play video games than board games. So let's see. I put gaming here in general. I don't know if we really want to throw this up there, but I mean that's kind of its own thing too,
Yeah. Well,
And
we'll
that's
get
kind
to
of
that
S tier,
later.
right?
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, yeah.
I'll just throw it up there, but the gaming industry is huge. It's huge. I want to save some of these for Zach because I know he really liked Power Rangers. Let's do Game of Thrones. It wasn't really popular probably before the show. And the show definitely helped. The show is one of the best shows of all time up until the end. So that helps a lot. As far as normies go, it's probably one of the biggest. But maybe not as far as fandoms go.
I mean, you want to get to the whole language thing?
The whole language thing? What do you mean?
Yeah, people were learning Valyrian for years.
That's true. But like compared to a couple other ones on this list, not nearly the same level.
Sure. I would be okay with it in B.
Yeah. I agree with that. Maybe bottom of A tier.
Maybe, yeah.
We can put it there for now.
Yeah.
Zach can help us rearrange when he jumps in. I say that like it's gonna happen. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Screw it. Well, let's get into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In the comic book world, they're number one as far as indie comics go. Oh, we got a text from Sam. Almost ready. Get
Almost
ready,
ready.
people.
Almost ready.
No, let's see. What's a good
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
that'll be what we say when he gets in there. Yeah, so dude, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had the best cartoons. They had the greatest 90s movies. They had the greatest action figures. They had the greatest toys. They are always represented in Comic-Cons. I mean, they got to be A tier. They got to be A tier.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They're huge. I watched the Turtles when I was a kid, like, and I was born in the late 90s, you know.
Yeah.
And I still grew up influenced by the Turtles.
Okay.
They're named. They're some of the most iconic characters. Everybody knows who they are, you know.
That's true. That's true.
I would say more than Game of Thrones.
Put them in A. Yeah.
Maybe even more than Pixar. Actually, I'd put him right there if I was.
Okay.
By the way, I think I should probably zoom in this way. I think that'll be better. Yeah,
there we go.
Better. Yeah, that's gotta be a good spot for him. All right. Harry Potter.
Automatic A. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, S. I put it in S.
I'd probably put it right there.
No. Gaming.
There are more Harry Potter fans than gamers out there, dude.
No shot.
You didn't think so?
No. No shot.
All right. Well, we'll argue about it later then.
Okay.
All right.
Don't get me wrong. I love Harry Potter, but there are way more gamers than Harry Potter fans.
Well, I guess true. Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm thinking about like normies, right? Like there's a lot of normie Harry Potter fans and there's a lot of nerd Harry Potter fans. There's a lot of nerd gamers, but not a lot of normie gamers. You know, you can't really be a normie gamer. That's not really a thing. I guess you could be if you play one or two games.
You could be a weekend gamer. I'd consider that a normie. I'm pretty much a normie gamer at this point in my life.
Yeah, but you're not truly a normie gamer though.
I guess. Yeah.
At the end of the day. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, Marvel comics. So these are not the movies. These are just they can include the movies. Actually, they should include the movies, but I'm thinking broader term. Marvel in general, but it definitely includes all the years of comics. It includes all the years of the movies.
I think we know where this goes. And DC should follow it too.
Here's the thing, dude.
Okay. Yes. And
here's my argument. Get out of there. We go. Okay.
Oh, it wasn't gonna let you do it. It was like, what are you thinking?
No. Okay. Sure. As far as movies goes, it would definitely beat it out. But as far as comics goes, as far as the cons go, DC is always on top for multiple reasons. First of all, it's the most passionate fan base, easily in as far as comics go.
Okay.
You can tell a Marvel comic book fan that a character sucks or whatever, and they honestly probably won't really. They might get up in arms. You tell a DC character that Batman sucks, you're dead. They will curse you and your firstborn son. Like, DC fans are passionate. They are very passionate. They're very loyal. They're way more loyal than Marvel fans.
Sounds like they're kind of toxic.
No, Marvel's the toxic one.
Hey.
We all know that. We all know that. And I'm a Marvel fan. So
fair enough.
Look, you got Superman, you got Batman, you got those alone are some of the most iconic characters in all of fiction. And they're huge.
Spider-Man, Hulk.
Yeah, but Spider-Man carries Marvel by itself.
That's why
By himself.
Sure. But I guess if we're looking,
Superman and Batman are huge though.
yeah,
Batman's always everybody's top pick, you know? Not always, I shouldn't say that, but most of the time, Batman is people's number one pick for favorite superhero. There are more Batman renditions than anything else in cinema.
okay.
There are more Batman shows.
If we are excluding the normie fan base, yes, DC wins. If we are including the normie fan base, Marvel has them because the cinematic universe has farmed normies.
But see, we're talking about fandom though, right?
Yes.
Would you consider them part of fandom? And I guess this could be a pro in your argument for Harry Potter versus gaming. If you don't include normies in a fandom, because they're not technically in the fandom, right? We're ranking fandoms right now.
Yeah.
So in that, I'll give you gaming if you give me DC over Marvel. Like,
so it's a trade is what you're saying. It's a
this
trade.
is a trade. This is my trade offer for you.
How about I counter? No. Well, I guess what do you have to do
In that
to be
sense,
a part
I
of
would
a
even.
fandom? I guess.
What'd you say?
What do you have to do to be a part of a fandom? Like to be considered in the fandom?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The size of the fandom. We're talking about those are the attributes, right?
As an individual, what do I have to do to be in the fandom?
You have to know about the fandom. You have to be passionate about the fandom. You have to be not like regularly, but like actually enjoy it. Not like, oh yeah, I threw this show up, or this whatever up. Yeah, whatever. I read a comic one time. You're not part of the fandom then. There's no connection. There's no connection between you and that. You have to have a connection to it to be part of the fandom.
Huh.
You have to be able to contribute to the conversation.
Do you have to feel represented to be a part of the fandom? Okay.
Fuck that.
I'm kidding. Because I really do now that there's a deaf and now that there's deaf characters.
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure about that.
One. I picked the one that has 3. You sure about that?
Oh yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll accept your trade. I'll accept your trade.
So here's where we're at now, though. We'll leave gaming where it's at.
Right.
Does Harry Potter deserve to be above DC and Marvel?
Okay. How many? Actually, I would split it. I would put it in between.
Okay. Give me your reasoning.
And here's my reason. I think that more people that enjoy Harry Potter are actually in the fandom. More like percentage wise, there are a higher amount of people who like Harry Potter that are considered part of the fandom. Like we just had this conversation about normies or not. I think a low percentage of Harry Potter fans are actual normies compared to Marvel.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
He's back.
So here's the discussion, Zach. Here's what's on the table right now. We are tier ranking fandoms. So this is how it's kind of laid out. This is not how we rank them personally.
Right.
This is ranking how passionate the fan base is, how big the fan base is, how I hate the word, but represented they are at like cons or just in culture in general, cosplaying, whatever it is. And even I would say we are not including normies in this as part of fandom, but I would say even influence on normies. That doesn't mean they're part of the fandom, but the influence they have on the general public, right?
Right.
And what was the last one again? Or how like involved people are in it, like learning languages and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I also threw in a caveat of like how tolerable they are, which so far hasn't really came in that much, but
Dude,
it
that's
might.
a lot of S tiers. Because I'm looking at who you got on the list to go, and I think
we're currently working on S tiers right now.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like you're gonna. Okay.
We do have some more S tiers coming. That's no doubt about that.
I think there's at least 3 in your next 5 that should be S tier.
Listen, we're
least.
nerds, okay? It's
Maybe
to be
even 4
expected.
actually, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is on the line.
yes.
Hey,
Okay, so
Right.
we're nerds here. This is to be expected. we
Right.
we like these things.
So
Oh, yeah.
So did you see the suggestions I added to the list too?
oh shoot, I did not.
Yeah, I
Well, we
added
can
a
add
few
them.
there. Yes, we'll add them.
Okay, give me 1 second. For now, Tyler and Zach, give me your thoughts on whether Harry Potter is bigger than DC or Marvel.
I think
and
it
we'll
is.
get back to DC and Marvel in a second because I think DC is bigger, but I'll give you my thoughts on that.
I think Harry Potter's bigger than Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said it should split them.
Yeah, I could give you DC potentially.
Those are
In
good.
my wife's, and my wife made a good point because I ran through the list with her before I hopped on. Harry Potter is a worldwide phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the Harry Potter books have been translated into more languages than any, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like more language than any other fantasy series ever.
That's
Like
probably
even
true.
more than Lord of the Rings potentially. So I feel like Harry Potter is like definitely S tier. I would say you could probably drop Marvel to A tier. I know the MCU is huge, but I think currently it's definitely petered off. I think if we made this list 3 years ago, of course you put Marvel S tier. But I think I would put Marvel A tier, and I think DC, the comics are just so popular. I think DC just has the staying power, and I think DC belongs S tier, Marvel belongs A tier, Harry Potter definitely belongs S tier.
Well, that's my argument with DC, right? Is first of all, you got Batman and Superman. You got two
Right, of
powerhouses that are
course, yeah.
well known across the world,
Mhm.
and you'll find way more passionate DC comic fans than you will Marvel fans. You can
Of
insult
course,
the
yeah.
Marvel character, and they won't give you the time of day. A DC fan will fight you for
Right.
that, and just way more iconic comic events, comics in general. You're gonna find way more cosplayers in that realm. It's just the passion is really
Yes.
real.
No,
and
no argument for me that DC belongs S tier.
yeah. Okay, we did have some in
Why
here.
does Bluey think it doesn't?
No,
He was arguing DC or Marvel above DC.
And that was only in the case if we counted like the normie fan base, because the normie fan base increases the Marvel camp by way more than DC. So if you include that as like an overall fan base, then they definitely are above DC. But we got that ironed out that we should do pure non-normie fan bases.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think it's bad to slightly consider it, but I think if you're gonna weight percentage wise, normie fan base should be like 5%, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I added some extra ones here.
Oh boy.
I love it. All
right,
I had to
you have
throw
to-
that in for the memes.
Please create a new level of bottom and an F tier, please.
Right, exactly.
And then immediately put League of Legends in there, please.
Excuse me.
Please.
How do you add
For
a
toxicity alone?
I mean,
For toxicity alone, they deserve to be an F tier.
yeah, but they're huge, dude.
Doesn't
Like,
matter. Toxicity. Get that out of here.
They're so toxic. That's true. They're
Get 'em
so
out.
toxic. But
Get 'em
like,
out.
honestly,
Okay.
You can't even like a
whatever,
character,
we'll get
bro. You can't even like a character because then 15 other
Yeah.
people come at you saying, "Why do you like that character? That's the worst character ever."
right?
And it's like, but I like this character, and like doesn't matter. It's an awful character. You
I will
can't
say
even be a
Arcane
fan.
is
even the-
probably helping
the
it. but
gameplay itself is super toxic too. Not even like just the player base is absolutely toxic, but like so much
Yeah.
cosplay. Their world championship event is still hands down the best video game world championship event in my opinion. It's just fantastic.
that's probably fair.
D.
Hmm?
I
What'd
said
you say?
fine. D.
Yeah, no, I mean they
No.
definitely, yeah, it's super toxic.
You're right. And we weren't actually weighing toxicity that much because I'm sure the gaming community would also be down an F. but
Right.
True. Yeah, we put
um,
gaming up here.
So
I think if
I
you
will
were
give
gonna
you an
actually
A.
rank them, yeah, they'd have to be A or B.
They're
Like
A,
League of Legends is massive.
and I'd give it
It-
over.
I'd say probably there, right? You'd
Oh.
say A tier, you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bigger
They're
than
I mean,
League.
big.
Worlds alone for League
Is huge.
isn't
I
huge.
think it's bottom A tier. I think in between the A and the B tier is fine. I think I would put it above Game of
I don't know
Game
about
of Thrones is a lot of normies. Is a lot
that.
of
Well,
normies.
that's what I was talking about earlier too. Yeah, the show has a lot of normies, and myself included. I'm probably a normie actually in terms of Game of Thrones. I'm not really part of that fandom. I enjoy
League
the
of
show.
Legends are not normies. If you are a
Yeah,
fan of
no,
League of
that's fair.
Legends, you're a hardcore fan of League of Legends.
I guess in that cadence, yes, we should probably put it down in B tier because
Yes, I think that makes more
actually,
sense.
if you
I feel
take out the
comfortable with
normies,
that.
then I would probably even put
Yeah.
it
No,
there.
I think
That's
that's
fair.
fine because Transformers is a lot of normies. But I'm surprised you had Warhammer so low. Aren't those
Yeah.
fans like hardcore?
But size.
They are. But look what's above them. I mean, look at all the stuff we got in there, right?
That's true. There's just not many of them. You're right. I
Yeah.
guess that's fair. What is
Yeah.
ROM software? I didn't recognize that one.
Oh,
From
from
software.
software.
Or
Software.
from software.
From Software are the creators of Elden Ring and Dark Souls.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Those.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
All right. No, I
yeah,
like. Yeah, I think that's fair. Swifties.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep. Hey, come on.
No,
it is,
that was more
bro.
a meme than anything else.
But
You
it's
can put them
true.
in F tier.
No,
Yeah.
it's
I
true.
mean-
They have to be S. They do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
this is why we can't have it in this list.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is completely. It actually gets its own. It's called TS.
I would say it's probably below Disney, but still.
I disagree. I actually
No,
disagree, bro.
I actually think Swifties are the most rabid fan base.
But
ever.
there are current Swifties, right? There are a lot of Disney fans from going back generations.
I guess
so,
that's true.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Okay.
are they
so
still
like,
alive?
And like the reason I was thinking about
and I would
this
say the
too-
Disney adults rival the Swifties. So
Yeah, that's true.
Well, rival
So
maybe, but still
the
lose.
reason that I was thinking about this too. So obviously Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce dating, probably gonna get engaged, whatever.
Who knows?
So on Reddit,
I would even
I
do
don't know
that.
how familiar y'all are with the NFL subreddit or like the team subreddit. So on a game day, they'll start a game day thread. So like you talk
Okay.
about it in the thread with fans. So the Taylor Swift subreddit has started doing that when there's Chiefs games.
oh gosh.
And so you just have a bunch of Taylor Swift fans talking about an NFL game in the Taylor Swift subreddit, and they have no clue what's going on. And I just saw like a Twitter post with some hilarious tweets from the game where it's just like what like the Bills kicker missed a field goal in the game this last weekend, and they were like, oh my gosh, I hope he has a great support system. That must be so hard for him to miss that. And then they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I like barely can breathe. Is this normal? Like,
Oh my
I was
if only they
dying.
knew
So-
that he was getting death threats all week.
Oh yeah, I feel so bad for that guy.
That's fine.
So no, I just that was at the forefront of my brain. I just think it's hilarious. I think that's probably fair. I think right behind gaming in general is probably fair.
Yeah. We could, and we're getting a little tight. We could probably start moving some stuff down.
Yeah.
I like maybe we start by doing this.
Yep.
Maybe
I think you have a tier break at Transformers, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
I
start
think that's
with
fair.
some
I
of
think
these
that's
guys in.
fair. Oh, D&D is hard.
Put Marvel down top A.
Yeah. Oh, I think DC really does. That's a tough one, but I think that's probably. I think Harry
It's
Potter
like
being the
tone
bottom
line.
of S right now is probably fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that
I-
the controller is just gaming in general, correct?
right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All
I
right.
mean, gaming's that's worldwide. Like
Right. Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
Agreed.
maybe even bigger than I don't know. That's an argument. Maybe bigger than Disney.
We'll get there. Let's get everything on the board,
Yeah.
and then we'll do an
Yeah.
overall.
All right. So Zach, this one's for you. Power Rangers.
C tier easily. I would actually put it under Transformers. I think Transformers
think
is more
so?
popular.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think Transformers is much more popular.
That's interesting because when I was a kid, all I would see was Power Rangers stuff. Power Rangers
Yeah,
and Turtles.
but think about it now.
Not so much
though.
Transformers.
Transformers has lasted. Michael Bay's films kept it going, whereas like the Power Rangers movie didn't do well.
Yeah, that's true.
Even
But,
though
I
I
mean-
loved it, but it didn't do well.
Isn't the Power Rangers show still a thing? With the Green Ranger, didn't he come back?
potentially. Well, yeah, no, they did it was I heard about it. They literally pulled every Power Rangers team that was still like alive, and they did a huge massive multiversal crossover episode.
Okay.
That is pretty cool. Like they have a really rich history for sure, but I just think Transformers captures more interest because it's a little less campy than Power Rangers.
But again, I would consider myself a normie as far as Transformers and Power Rangers, but Power Rangers still has comic books going. You know, I
Really?
mean, so is Transformers, but the Power Rangers comics are way bigger than the Transformers.
Really? I didn't even know
Oh.
they did comic books.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're all part of. Or let's see, I think so. This is DSW. These TMNT and Power Rangers I think are the same. I can't remember who does Transformers.
No. Well, Hasbro's the parent company, I guess.
Yeah, but they don't make comics.
Right.
Which comics. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm fine either way. I'm just saying like Power Rangers is still pretty relevant. So
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Transformers and Power Rangers.
yeah. All right, we got Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy is huge, dude.
I know it is, but
It's pretty
I don't.
big, man. But I wouldn't put it. I would put it over Warhammer. That's probably about it.
You think so? Okay. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I
I have no
I
stake
mean,
in this.
yeah,
so-
they're
I
everywhere
guess
at
they
cons.
don't have any movies, so
Yeah, they got a lot of video games.
And they're
Mhm.
they're all
Final
over the
Fantasy's
cons.
16 or 17 now, whatever it is now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm
probably fair.
G.I. Joe, probably
I would
bigger
put
than
it, yeah, I would put it right
Transformers.
Yeah, I watched G.I. Joe
I
growing
mean,
up.
action figures alone
there. Mm-hmm.
easily puts them up there.
Channing
right.
Tatum.
I think we got all the weak links here. So now we got the biggest ones.
Mhm.
So let's start with Lord of the Rings. I mean, I think across the board, most fandoms, all of these fandoms would probably say their favorite movies of all time is Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Some of
Well,
them would
Lord of
argue
the
obviously with
Rings-
Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings
but-
is the daddy of them all.
I mean, yeah, it started the fantasy genre. I mean, just as Star
Mhm.
Trek started sci-fi, but is it
It's
bigger than Harry
I
Potter?
think it's bigger than Harry Potter.
I don't really want this in here.
No, you can put it in its own tier.
All
at
right,
the
we'll just throw
bottom.
it down
Yeah,
here. Just
exactly.
joking.
Yeah, I think that's probably
I mean, you got all the book
gaming
fans.
just kind of takes up space. I feel like you maybe were a little too broad with just saying gaming.
Yeah, maybe that's fair.
Because that's just
That's
like
fair.
kind of a clogger. I would take gaming out, in my opinion. I think gaming's a little too broad.
Well, let's put it down here for now.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, I
That's
can't.
fine.
I
See,
can't really
like
take
that,
that anymore.
I think Walt Disney, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter is like a fantastic S tier.
Yeah, but I mean, hold up. Hold up.
Wait a
Mhm.
minute.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Mm.
Something ain't right.
I would easily say all three of these other ones are S tier for many reasons here. First of all,
Star Wars and Star
Star
Trek,
Wars-
I 100% agree with you.
Doctor Who is the longest running show of all time.
Yeah, but like, oh man,
The-
they are the nerdiest nerds.
They are
Doctor
the
Who
nerdiest nerds.
are like the nerdiest nerds.
Over Star
100%.
Trek?
I
Over
mean,
Star
Star Trek rivals it
Oh.
for sure.
Yeah,
mean, I'll be honest, Star Trek should probably be number one.
probably.
people learn Klingon and all and Romulan and all and Vulcan. Like
Yeah, I think Star
it
Trek
is insane. And I would even say
Mhm.
maybe Lord of the Rings would be second because of the fact that people learn
People
Elvish,
learn Elvish, yeah.
Dwarvish, and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
I mean, Star Trek is like
Yeah, I think
next level nerdum.
yes.
And
I
I would
think that's fair.
personally argue that it goes like that.
Ooh. You know Doctor Who better than I do, so I don't have
But I've
much
only
to
watched
say.
the new stuff. Like the old stuff is huge, and especially in England, you know, like
Mhm.
that's their culture is Doctor Who. So
Well, I haven't had to care what
like our
England's
Star Trek,
I haven't had to care what England thinks about anything since 1776, so
That's
fair
right.
enough. But
Merca,
it's
baby.
I love British culture actually. Like as far as pop culture goes, the British do it right.
I mean, they gave us the Beatles, so I'll give them that.
They gave us Pink Floyd. They gave us all the music. Like
Mhm.
all the best music comes from England. So
And
um,
they gave us freedom because
and they
Mhm.
gave us freedom. That's right. Well, we took it, but whatever.
Yeah, we took freedom from them.
Semantics.
potato, potato.
Save us out of. But I mean, like you could even say like Star Trek is equal as Doctor Who is for America versus Britain. You know, like our Star
That's
Trek is
fair.
their
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But I would say Star Trek's still bigger because it's spread more broader than
Yeah.
Doctor Who has.
And I just think those are the nerdiest nerds. For sure.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I would because Lord of the Rings is also British, and
Yeah, J.R.R. Tolkien, you're right.
it was the solution for fiction. Like he came up with, he knew that the English people needed a fictional world to escape in. It was kind of like the first escapism there ever was.
Dude, you know what we forgot? Chronicles of Narnia.
I thought about that too, but yeah, I don't know. It's
I think
It's
it'd
too
be low
small.
on the list. I think it'd be low on the list, but it's decently sized.
as far as this goes, I would probably put Star Wars right there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Just because it's just, man.
Harry Potter is
Dis-
one of the newer ones here, so it
Yeah,
belongs at the bottom.
yeah, Disney has just got so much staying power.
I mean,
Like, it kind
yeah,
of hurts to put Disney above Star Wars, but I think it probably deserves
but it's
to be
true.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I
I mean,
think
Disney owns Star Wars, so it's like
Yeah.
the passion alone puts these three at the top. The size alone puts these three up there. But yeah, I mean the nerdiest fandoms as we're talking about. These guys are definitely the nerdiest
Yeah.
fandoms.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
all right, so what do we want to adjust here? And we could get rid of F so that these two just disappear, but I don't know if you guys
No,
should we
I
get
think
rid of
that's
gaming?
fine. I think
I mean, it's pretty broad.
It's
is
really
pretty
broad. In my opinion, it's really broad.
It's kind of like saying movies, you know. So we'll just delete that.
Yeah.
All right. Get out of here.
Yeah, you could just say movies.
Yeah.
Ah.
No, I mean that's not the point. I'm just saying like it's a medium. It's not a fandom necessarily. But
Would you bump Avatar down into D tier?
Yeah, I don't know. That was the first one we talked about. Avatar is probably the biggest kids show in modern history. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, we got all the cartoons basically on that level.
Right. And I think that's honestly fair. I honestly think this list is pretty decent. I think it's pretty fair and it's not overly clogged in any one area.
Yeah, it's pretty equal, actually.
Yeah. The only, like, if you wanted to do an S plus tier, you could probably put Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, and Doctor Who in S plus, and split it up a little bit
or we
more.
start moving some other stuff down.
But that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I guess you
S
can move
tier
other
is S
stuff
tier.
down.
You can't really have an S plus tier. That's kind of like saying
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's say, for instance, you move some of C tier down. Where would you make that break?
All right, so I would probably let's do this. So I'd probably do it like this.
And then drop Game of Thrones there. I think you have to leave WoW in B tier. WoW was huge when I was in high school. Unfortunately, that's the problem. Is I really think WoW belongs in B tier, and I would almost put Mario in B. No, Mario. A lot of people grew up, and then I think it hurts. I feel like Harry Potter belongs in S tier. but you
I
could
mean,
maybe
it's
put it right at the pinnacle of A tier.
it is huge. It
It's
is really, really
huge.
big.
I mean, yeah, for the book reason alone, Zach, like translations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I mean the 8
Just shows you
movie
there's great
series
fandoms
is
you know?
fantastic. I
Yes.
honestly don't hate this. I don't hate this list.
I
Yeah, I
like
think it's
this.
pretty
Yeah.
decent. Yep.
Because B tier is like your solid live and die fan bases. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at it, right? Is like start in the middle and see if I agree that those are like solid fan bases,
Yeah.
but like you're not shocked. Like you're not shocked if someone's a fan of them, but you don't find those on every street corner, right? And I think
Right.
that's pretty
Right.
fair.
Yep.
Mario, everyone's played Mario, right? So from Mario on up, I feel like
Yes.
that's where it starts to get more and more nerdy. And then same thing with like not everyone watched Game of Thrones. And so
Yeah.
I think from Game of Thrones down, it's at Peter's out. So I feel like that's pretty fair.
Yeah. I think this is a solid list. I'm pretty happy where we're at. Some of the S tiers I could I mean, yeah, Disney.
Man, they're so
Yeah,
hard.
uh,
Those are some
it's very
just
difficult.
titans right there. I feel like they all deserve it.
I don't know if it's my bias putting Lord of the Rings above Doctor Who, but I mean, more
my bias for
fans,
sure.
more
I would
nerds
say
have watched Lord of the Rings than have watched Doctor Who.
yeah.
But
Well, and the
in the
books
passion
alone, you
alone,
got to
Star
remember.
Trek
You
is
got to. Are there
huge.
Doctor Who books?
Maybe I don't know. I don't really know.
Right. So, like, that's the thing, right? So, of course, there's Lord of the Rings books, right? You know what? Like, I feel like Lord of the Rings deserves to be above Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it, maybe Disney would be above Doctor Who. I don't know.
Maybe.
I would put I'd put Disney above Doctor Who,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Because
I would put Star Wars above Doctor Who. I would honestly, I would put Doctor Who at the end of S tier, but again, I don't know Doctor Who as well as you do.
Maybe you're right.
I don't either, and I would honestly put it top of A. But like that's like
but
teetering.
dude, those are nerds. Like
those are nerds.
I'm
I
sure
know
they
that
are,
much.
but like
Doctor Who are like they're the people that you see a Doctor Who scarf walking around. You're like, yep, that's a nerd right there. Like,
okay, I get that, but
you
I'm
know
not
when you
seeing.
see a Doctor Who nerd,
But I don't see
they're
that
in their
many.
normal life.
But I don't see that many.
I've seen a lot. But granted, I grew up in a more homeschooled environment than you did, so maybe that's part of it. But
yeah,
like other than you, I really only know like one Doctor Who nerd in my life.
yeah, that's a really tough one. I feel like even though I don't know as much as Biggie, I would. Oh man, it's definitely either tippity top of A tier or it does belong in S tier, and I just don't know enough about it to say. So I'll.
Here's what I'll do. I'll do this. This is what I'll.
Compromise.
This is what I'll do.
Compromise.
This is my compromise. I don't think it's Harry Potter's bigger. Like genuinely, I think Doctor Who is more massive.
Especially if you consider the nerds of it. Like Harry Potter
Think
is
about
a
how
decent
far
number of
back it
normies.
goes. Think about how far back Doctor Who goes. You know.
Yeah.
It was the biggest. It was probably the biggest disaster in the history of nerdom too, as far as like what they did to it in recent years. You know, like that was probably the biggest insult to nerdom was that alone.
Right.
Done with Doctor Who. So, you know, it's there's I don't know. I think that it's got the longevity there. So it obviously didn't get as big as Star Wars did or some of those other guys. You could even argue that it's, maybe Harry Potter, but a lot of people weren't allowed to even watch Harry Potter. So
right. Well, and I tip the scales when it just comes to the nerd factor of the fans. I feel like Doctor Who's are way more nerdy than Harry. Although Harry Potter has the take your house quiz, right? But I do think like normies kind of drag down Harry Potter a little bit.
The majority of Harry Potter fans are just solely Harry Potter fans,
right? Exactly.
That are mostly normal people, but they're just a bunch of Potter pals, Whereas the rest are all nerds, they're nerds. So
right.
I wouldn't say Harry Potter fans are nerds.
I mean,
so
Bluey's
much.
a Harry
But a lot
Potter
of
nerd.
but a lot of nerds are Harry Potter fans, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's great. Harry Potter's amazing, but it's
Yeah,
there are a lot of normies that kind of infiltrate it. So
yeah.
Are
No, I
we
like this
okay
list.
with having more S tiers than any other tier?
Yes.
that just shows that nerdom is awesome, man.
No,
You're right.
I'm
You're right.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
okay
alright
with
with
it.
it. I'm alright with it. I'm
Yeah.
just stirring the
Yeah,
pot
I'm
even
totally
more. I'm
okay
just
with it.
being goofy.
I
I-
cannot if Biggie thinks Doctor Who belongs in S tier, I cannot knock any of the other 4 out.
Yeah.
So that to me, Harry Potter has to be an S tier.
It does, and like personally, a bias would tell me that DC and Marvel should be above it, but I just know Harry Potter is huge, so I'll
It's
give it
so
that.
big. Yeah.
I'll give it that. So personally, I
just-
like it less,
Yeah.
but that's fine. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. I like it.
So I think that's our list, guys.
Perfect.
There you go.
Did it?
Woo!
Yay! Shoot. So yeah, we will. We'll post this on the Instagram, so go check it out there. We'll throw it up in the Discord server. But yeah, we got very exciting things in store for you guys. We'll talk. I'll tell you later after we get off, Zach. But Bluey and I have been discussing, and we got a lot of fun things for you this year. We're going big and we're going hard, and
Love
we're
it.
gonna grow. We're gonna grow. So be on the lookout for some stuff. We'll probably have some updates very soon, within the next couple weeks, with our plan. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to our weekly live stream. We're gonna rename this Talking Nerds Live now, because the Talking Nerds is growing. It is no longer just a podcast. So this is Talking Nerds Live. So thank you for tuning in live, or rewatching it afterwards. We appreciate you. Go check out our Discord. Again, we're playing Sea of Thieves. So if you want to get in on that, we have a 24-person guild that we can do. Where we just started. So we got 3 people or 4 people in the guild, and so we'll just keep going from there. So we will tell everybody when we're playing. Hopefully you can join. And yeah, we got some more gaming stuff down the road, but right now we're doing Sea of Thieves and some other fun stuff. Bluey made a video game.
I did.
Wow.
And he put it in the Discord server, so you can download the game now and play it yourself. And I'm not just saying this because I'm his friend. I actually had a lot of fun with it, and like it reminds me a bit of a Souls game, but it's just a classic arcade game. It's good. It's great. It's simple, challenging. It's everything you want in a game.
Nice.
More to
So,
come
yeah,
too. More to come.
More to come. Yeah, that's just the first. So go check that out on our Discord server, link in the description, and go follow us on our socials. All our updates will be on Twitter, and then we'll be posting content on Instagram and in the TikTok, which, whatever. I guess we got to utilize it. But yeah, so with that, thank you guys, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.
Peace.